So this morning on Sports File, we're taking a very interesting look at probably one of the most controversial number one draft picks in NHL history, besides the great Eric Lindros. Now, when Alexandre Daigle was first determined to be possibly the number one draft pick going into the 1993 NHL entry draft, there was high expectations would help the new revised Ottawa Senators franchise. Now, in the 92-93 season, Ottawa had the number one pick for obvious reasons. They lost more than 70 games, one of the worst teams in NHL history. And they're hoping Alexandre Daigle would be the next, kind of maybe Guy Lafleur, Denis Savard. Now, it was first followed as a youth quite early. He played in the 1988 Quebec International Pee Wee Tournament with a minor hockey team from Laval, and he drew a lot of interest. And as he continued on, a lot of people, because of the fans and everybody else, felt he was a can't-miss prospect. Now, his Quebec Major Junior Hockey League years were quite dramatic. In 2 seasons, he had 247 points, including 80 goals, 67 assists, with actually a lot of penalty minutes as well. He was kind of a half rugged player. And at the time, the 93 draft was supposed to be quite heavy, and Daigle soon became the number one sensation in that draft. Now, as the draft approached, there was a lot of rumors saying the Ottawa maybe be trying to trade the pick to the Quebec Nordiques, because the Quebec Nordiques were hosting the event, and they were reportedly so eager to get the next Quebecois superstar. They offered, get this, Owen Nolan, Peter Forsberg, Ron Hextall, and draft picks for him. But Ottawa management disregarded all offers. I think Ottawa made a big mistake there. Now, Daigle was selected first overall by the Senators, ahead of future superstars Chris Pronger and Paul Kariya, who were picked second and fourth. Now, his contract was very controversial as well. There was no salary cap entry fee for rookies. He signed a 5-year, $12.25 million contract, and the money invested didn't really pay off. Now, he also drew some ire with some comments at the draft. He said that, I'm glad I'm going to be drafted first because, of course, no one remembers who number 2 is, and Chris Pronger is probably one of the best draft picks of all time, no matter where he was selected, by Hartford that year. And he made a Hockey Hall of Fame in 2015. Now, his rookie season wasn't too bad. He had 20 goals and 51 assists, showed a lot of style on the ice, but his team had little offensive support because it was comparable to the team from the year before. But his dominance he showed in junior, he couldn't really do it with the Senators. And for those who thought he was going to be a superstar, he was too much of not say a nice guy on the ice, but he didn't have the talent that a lot of people thought he had. He had flashes of brilliance with Victoriaville, but in the Q League, you score 7 goals. That's a normal, a game, and if you get 3 or 4 assists or 4 points every game, it's more because of the league, not because of the quality of your play. Now, in his career, he scored 20 goals twice, including his rookie season in 96-97, but he never scored more than 50 goals in a season. He, in the media, especially in Quebec, he was heavily criticized for his lack of effort, and he didn't really seem to be motivated to the level of other Quebec players. Now, a lot of people felt he seemed more interested in the limelight, and he also posed for that infamous nurse's uniform to promote his contract with Score cards, where Score at the time was considered the next big thing to promote hockey on a trading card level, and that kind of fell apart. Now, when Alexei Yashin showed up in Ottawa, the Russian superstar, Daigle was getting outplayed on the ice and off the ice in a lot of ways. They were all both promoted the future stars of the franchise, but management felt that Daigle was a better long-term route than Yashin, and which led to Yashin's infamous holdout the 95-96 season, because he wanted Daigle's money, and head coach Rick Bowness and assistant coach Alain Vigneault were fired in November 21st, 95, after they demoted Daigle to the fourth line, which is how Jonathan Drouin is treated in Montreal. He's sent to the third or fourth line who doesn't produce. Now, he had a lot of off-ice issues that were more personality-wise than anything else, especially a famous incident where a flippant comment led to a flight being diverted because he said, guy's computer said, watch out with your bomb there. And, it's, he just wasn't fitting in. Now, during the 97-98 season, Ottawa was pretty well fed up with Daigle, with only, 246 points in 301 games. He was traded to the Flyers for actually a great prospect, debacle, and the former first-round bust, Pat Falloon. Now, with the Flyers, his lack of production continued, and he was eventually passed on to the Oilers, who passed him on to Tampa Bay. But it was pretty well it for Daigle by the age of 25. At then, no one was willing to take a chance on him as the underachiever. He basically ended up back in the minor pro leagues. He did have a short comeback with the Minnesota Wild over a couple of seasons, and also with the Pittsburgh Penguins, but it didn't really play out. There's no basic reason why Daigle didn't work out. Like, somebody can be overrated. Like, he was a good 20 to 25 goal scorer, maybe comparable to, I don't know, a young Alex Galchenyuk. But if anybody thinks a player is going to be drafted number one, is going to save a team, there's other factors on the go. Who did he play with? What team did he play with? How was his two-way play? Was he good on defense? Did he motivate the fellow players on the bench? But he had a problem like Rod Duguay. He was a pretty boy, and the media really turned against him, especially when Scores signed a big contract with him. And Ottawa, the franchise over the years has had major mistakes with signing certain players, either over-signing them or for contracts that are too long. But Daigle's Q record is some of the best ever. He was Rookie of the Year for the CHL in '92, made the second team All-Star for the Q in '92, and he also got to a top rookie forward. '93 was top draft prospect for Canadian Major Junior, and also won the Mike Bossy Trophy. He was also a first team All-Star for the Q. Now, Alexandre Daigle is basically, not say a forgotten person. He's not. A lot of the new players kind of point to him when a young player comes in, not to overhype. I think that helped Austin Matthews. When Austin Matthews first came in the league, people basically said, well, let's not turn this guy another Alexandre Daigle. Let's give him time to develop. Young players coming in, Besser and Jack Eichel and everybody else, seems there's a better playing field in regards to development. The hype machine for Alexandre Daigle was through the friggin' roof, because first you had Lindros and Alexandre Daigle, and that was around the time of Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders, multi-sport athlete. Hockey card companies were putting pressures on players to sell them units, so it was a way different time. And like I said, quarter century ago, hockey's not like it is now. Now we have many more teams, better media coverage, more protection for the players. But Alexandre Daigle, in my view, is the last major draft bust ever of the NHL. For that distinction, we say he's part of hockey history. So on this Friday, actually, I'm at Cummings Brothers, our great location, waiting for my tires to be changed by the great staff here. Please patron this location, as we tape here quite often. Great convenience store location as well. And as we like to say in the Quebec Major League, it's okay to score, but what have you done for me lately? Have a good day. Bye.